I think it's absolutely miraculous that there are not more inter-traffic intersection accidents and fatalities, because the number of people who go right through traffic lights is extraordinary. All of us can attest to this. We see it all day, every day when we are on the roads. That even if you're 100 yards away from the intersection, the light going amber is a signal to you to speed up, not to slow down and come to a stop. So to read from the city's latest traffic offences report detailing the year up to a couple of months ago, that there has been a 49% increase in motorists running red lights. Well, okay, that makes sense. Alderman JP Smith, the MAYCO member for Safety and Security, joins us now. JP, hello again.
Afternoon, John.
Are these people who have been caught at traffic light intersections that have permanent cameras attached to them?
No, sir. This is both permanent cameras and otherwise, but the statistic will increase along with the stop street enforcement, because for the last, 6, 7, 8 months, we have been doing additional enforcement at intersections because of the poor compliance rates and the many public complaints about that. You cannot expect to achieve motor vehicle safety if you can't do something as basic or get compliance with something as rudimentary as an intersection. Where there's a stop street, you need to stop, and where there's a traffic light, you need to be guided by the light. And so where people have been non-compliant with that, we have been stepping up our enforcement, with staff being requested every day as part of their duty to target intersections, problematic intersections, and we have invited repeatedly the public to log these problematic intersections through the e-services portal to guide our staff on where to target their efforts. I logged another one, for instance, today.
How much sense would it make to have all of the problematic and potentially problematic intersections covered by cameras?
That would be great. The problem is, of course, that your criminal justice system has challenges processing the volumes of incidents. So if a person doesn't pay, then a warrant is issued. You need to make placed on the court roll for the representations, and the courts have caps. So the capacity of the criminal justice system is currently one of the inhibiting factors as to how many cameras can run. That's why you see a finite number of cameras around the city move between different camera housings. There are many more camera housings than cameras. That there are a fixed number of cameras, and we move these cameras around the city, and unfortunately cannot have as many cameras as would otherwise be sensible.
What percentage of the red light offences are captured on cameras versus officers stationed at problematic intersections?
That statistic I unfortunately don't have immediately at hand.
But would it be a majority, a significant majority, or probably maybe 50%, or don't know?
In the past, I would have said it would have been almost the entire amount. A small additional amount would have been officers that see the offences happening in front of them. But because of the intersection enforcement priority that's been added, or the targeted enforcement on intersections, inter alia, because of all the incidents involving pedestrians being struck at these intersections, that figure might be much higher. I will immediately set about getting that statistics for you and reporting back before the end of your show.
When you and I have spoken before about traffic infringements and enforcement and fines, if I remember correctly, the memory may not be correct because the conversation was some years ago, that Cape Town had the highest success rate in terms of getting issued fines paid, but that was a very low bar because the payment rate was something, if I remember, around 26%. What is the current position?
That is still the case. We are managing an above average recovery rate on these fines. That's in part got to do with, I think, just a slightly higher culture of payment in Cape Town. And it is in part to do with the fact that we have a fair amount of dedicated resources looking at the gathering of these warrants, that there is a warrant enforcement section that goes and looks for people with outstanding warrants, which is what the law requires us to do. We also have mechanisms where the good people of our city just do the right thing. We have many good people that desire to be on the right side of the law and are conscientious. And when we do things like the traffic fine road show, they come and they sort out their fines and their warrants voluntarily when one makes it possible for them to do so with a reasonable degree of ease. And then, of course, we introduced the dash cams with the license plate recognition, and that has changed the dynamic quite a lot because we are now recovering a much, much higher percentage of these outstanding warrants because the vehicles, our traffic enforcement vehicles on the roads, as they move about, as happens in many cities internationally, are identifying the vehicles with the outstanding warrants, and we are then engaging those drivers then and there on the road.
It was inevitable. Natasha, I've won a bet. I said within 3.5 minutes of my starting to talk to JP, somebody would phone and complain about the taxis and why you're targeting the citizens and not the taxis. And I'm not even going to give you the opportunity to tell us how many taxi infringements have been recorded and so on, because I know that Natasha's point of view is nonsense, that you do significantly go after taxis, which is why they moan so much about being gone after. But anyway,
12,224 impoundments, sir, in a year. That's over 30 a day. So they do complain bitterly about that. And there we don't just fine them because they don't care about fines. The public transport sector is very bad with paying fines. We focus on impoundment where that's possible. And you will remember after 2023 that the regulations changed and we were denied the opportunity to impound for moving violations. My colleague, Councillor Mzwaki Ngqabashe, and his portfolio committee are currently processing the new traffic bylaw amendment. It's about to go out for public participation, and that will reinstate many of the impoundment provisions for moving violations, like driving on the sidewalk, driving into oncoming traffic, ignoring traffic signals and channeling lines, etc., so that we can try and achieve a higher degree of compliance and less inconsiderate and aggressive driving.
And then the same question asked in different ways about when it becomes an offence of going through a red traffic light. What, if there is a camera, what triggers the camera? If a centimetre of my motor car is over the yellow line while the light is still amber, am I committing an offence? And, you know, the same, I suppose, is true if you have an officer physically present at an intersection. At what point does it become an offence?
If your wheels pass over the line when the camera turns red. So the amber light is there to warn you that it is about to turn red. And if you can in any way stop before that, during when that light turns amber, you should. If you cannot and you're already in the intersection, then you may pass through. But if you are a red light challenger, in other words, you're pushing your luck and hoping you make it through and you should be able to stop, and you get caught as the light changes, then the offence is on your conscience because if you're so far away that you're still passing the line when it changes, then that means that you were far enough away.
My question was, if a centimetre of your car is behind the yellow line, is over the yellow line, so effectively into the intersection while the light is still amber, and then it turns red, even though you are barely into the intersection, but you were in the intersection while the light was still amber, is it an offence?
If you cross the line when the light turns red, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Alderman JP Smith, the MAYCO member for Safety and Security.